What's up, comic book fans? And welcome to Comics Icons. Now, JJ, what they call me. And today, we got more Ghost Rider Final Vengeance with issue number 2. And how sick is this issue cover here? That's too fire. So issue number 1 ended with us seeing the Spirit of Vengeance find a new host, giving us a new Ghost Rider. And if you guys need to see that one and get caught up, then I place a card at the top of the screen right now. And a link at the end of the video as well. But after abandoning Johnny Blaze and making random stops all over the world and beyond to find his host, the Spirit of Vengeance seemingly is settled in Chicago with Parker Robbins. So if you guys are ready to find out how Parker gets down as the new Ghost Rider and what happened with Johnny Blaze, then you know what time it is. Let's get it. So we picked this story up in my hometown of Chicago, just moments before the end of issue 1, right before Parker Robbins had received the Spirit of Vengeance. And I'm just going to warn you guys now that I'm a little bit biased here and want this version to stick around, mainly because he's in Chicago right now. Since that's my hometown, I selfishly want to follow all of the heroes that are in Chicago. Villains too. I even hear through the grapevine that Chicago might be a setting for a particular X-Men team from the Ashes. So y'all know I'll be bringing every issue of that one ever. But yeah, just so y'all know right from the start where I'm at with it, just in case you guys are wondering why I favor these guys. But this story starts with a homeless guy, and he's pushing his shopping cart full of belongings. And he pulls out a bottle from his bag, and he comes across this one building. It kind of almost looks like one of the projects on the south side. But he pulls out this bottle, I guess for a little entertainment. His mom always said if you blow on a bottle, you call ghosts to you. And the minute that he blows into it, there's a huge explosion from the home that he walks past. But this homeless man can hear somebody inside screaming how much it burns from inside of the home. And he bravely runs inside without hesitation. And when he gets inside, he sees a man in pain. And he asks his name, and the man tells him, Parker Robbins. But then Parker grabs the arm of the homeless man as he approaches. But you can call me Ghost Rider. As now the homeless man is screaming in pain from his wrist being completely seared. Then the rest of the home goes up in flames with that poor old homeless man inside. As the Spirit of Vengeance lights up every nerve in Parker's body like he jammed a fork into an outlet to hell, and it's no letting go. And as he walks out into the street, random things in his path start to just combust, and his footprints leave behind flames. And he thinks to himself that when he says his name, Parker Robbins, he barely even recognizes it anymore. Because he's no longer himself, but a part of something bigger now. Almost too big, he thinks to himself, as he finds himself now back in his normal human form inside of a random gas station bathroom, and he's now puking ashes into a toilet. Tastes like wet ashes. Was this a mistake? He asks. And then in the mirror, Mephisto reveals himself and responds to him. I hope this wasn't a mistake. I'm usually an excellent judge of character, but I don't need a writer looking for the easy way out. Then hours later, he winds up at a diner, and he thinks that he doesn't know if this poison hungover feeling will ever go away. But he's learning to tolerate it, kind of like learning to tolerate living next to the train tracks or drinking too much bad liquor. But when a waitress walks up and gives him some coffee and takes his order, he wants all of it, he tells her. She's like, you're kidding, right? He's like, nope, give me everything on the menu and go ahead and leave that coffee pot on the table too while you're at it. So he's eating, and the waitress and the cook are just staring at him like, what the hell? But Parker thinks to himself that he's eating for two now, I guess. It's as if all of the fire hollowed him out and he's got to fill up the empty spaces inside of him. But when he asks the waitress for more coffee, she comes up and tells him that he's making them kind of nervous. But he's like, nervous how? You worried I'm not going to pay? What do you take me for? I'll pay. You've got my word. And when he goes to touch her on the shoulder to calm her fears, the Spirit of Vengeance takes over. And now he can see every bad thing that she's ever done. When she was 6, and stole a tube of lipstick from the pharmacy. And when she was 12, she'd break into her neighbor's house when they were at work and eat their food and try on their clothes. Or when she was 17 and she got tired of her father getting drunk and putting hands on her. So she ground up some Tylenol into his whiskey, and his liver failed. Parker can see it all. He can taste her sins, and he likes it. Then later, as he lays in the bed of a random motel, he thinks to himself that New York's too crowded. LA's full of phonies and sunshine. I came to Chicago because it's in the middle, the urban heart of the country, but also a place where a guy like me can make a move. And as he lays there in the bed to try to get some rest, he's sensing all these things happening around him. 2 floors down, someone's shooting up. In an alley, someone's getting robbed at knife point. 5 blocks away, a bus driver decides he's had enough, and he's plowing through an intersection and taking out everybody in his way. And all the while, a voice inside him constantly whispers, "Punish, punish, punish." And he will, he thinks, but in his own way. And as far back as he can remember, he'd always wanted to be big time. And he graduated from petty crime after he took down an Asante demon. Then with the hood and the boots that he took from it, he could go invisible, project electricity, walk on air, and see through illusions. He had made bank and started a family. He was on top of the world and nothing could stop him. Not even the Avengers. Or so he thought. But then his wife left, took the kid, and he got tossed in a different kind of prison. But when he got out and tried to make things right, Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider, got in the way. So he decided to make a bid to Mephisto to steal the spirit of vengeance out from under Johnny Blaze. So that's how Johnny Blaze lost it, y'all. Parker basically petitioned Mephisto for it directly. And as he walks the streets underneath the L train tracks, a guy on a motorcycle rides by and he straight up clotheslines this guy right off of the bike. And he takes the bike from him and takes off on it. And then he turns the bike into his new sick-ass Ghost Rider bike with the flames and the skull and all. He might not be the smartest, but he's stubborn, bull-headed, and persistent enough that he was definitely gonna win with a vengeance. Then he thinks to himself that there's a lot of work to be done in this city before he can make a claim on it. 5 crime families hold most of the power in Chicago. But before he can take them out, he's gonna need a home base. So he rolls up on this vampire spot with a ginormous bouncer out front, and the place is called the Meat Locker. But the bouncer doesn't let him in initially, so he pulls out a little canteen out of his pocket, and he tells the bouncer that he's got a question for his boss, and he's got him a little gift for the bouncer himself as gratitude for letting him in. But after he tells the bouncer that there's some fresh blood, newborn, then he opens it up and sprays him with it. The bouncer quickly finds out that it was actually holy water. Parker has stopped at a cathedral on the way there. So he lied, he thinks. He's allowed to do that. He owns all the sins. And then he walks in as the bouncer lay there on the ground with his face pretty much melted. And when he gets inside, this place is filled with bodies on meat hooks and bass thumping. And as Parker strolls through, he's tested by some of the vamps in there, but they find out right away that that's a bad idea because for him, hurting them is as easy as breathing. But then he continues through the club and into the back, and he opens up and walks through a door to the boss's office. Her name's Helmuth, he says, and his crew of vampires stay on the move, relocating from city to city, staying a few weeks at a time to lap up as much plasma as they can. But then he shows her his flaming skull and explains how easy it would be to end them. But he's not, because he's learned to compromise. Sometimes, an enemy can be an ally when there's a larger threat to manage, he tells her. So she's like, what are you proposing? And he tells her, I plan on spilling a lot of blood in this town. Figured you all might enjoy helping with the cleanup. What do you say? So right out of the gate, we can see that Parker's doing things way different. And now the Ghost Rider is about to have him a vampire gang, y'all. That's crazy. But back in the Black Hills of South Dakota, where Johnny Blaze was lured and had lost the spirit of vengeance, Zeb the magician comes searching for him. And as he walks through that dark tunnel, he says that he sometimes gets these dizzy feelings when things get unbalanced. Light and shadow, good and evil. And that's how he's feeling now, dizzy. Like the world's gone upside down. As he looks up and he spots Johnny Blaze webbed up and hanging from the ceiling of the tunnel. I don't know what the hell's happening right now, or why the spirit abandoned you, but we need to figure it out and get you back on the road. But then Zeb gets hit with a web that flies at him from deeper in the dark. And as it pulls him into the dark, he yells that you better not be dead, Johnny, or we're all dug deep in a grave of trouble. As that giant spider from issue 1 reveals itself from the shadows, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the issue. So how you guys feeling about this story so far? And what did you think about Parker Robbins as Ghost Rider? Do you guys think he'll cut it? And do you think Johnny Blaze will reconnect with the spirit eventually? I kind of think that Parker's got some potential. And like I said in the beginning, if Parker's going to be in Chicago, then I want to see him keep it. I'm admittedly biased in that. But Marvel has a big event coming really soon called Blood Hunt. So with this new Ghost Rider gang aligning with vampires, I'm kind of feeling like they're going to play a pretty big part in that event, possibly. But you guys hop in those comments and let me know your thoughts, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video and this channel, and you'd like to support the channel, then you guys could do so by joining the Iconic Fan Club channel membership. And I'll make sure to put a link in the description to join, but with your membership, you'll gain access to weekly interactive live streams with yours truly, where we could talk about everything that's been going down in these issues and ones in the past or upcoming stuff and other comic book news, as well as previews of upcoming things that are coming to the channel. Plus, you guys will get loyalty badges, member shoutouts, and more in these videos. Or you guys could donate to the channel with a super thanks. And if you're not able to do that, and you can also help out by dropping a like, share, and subscribe in the Comics Icons for more icons in the comic book world. But ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. I'm out. Peace.